think a lot of people, they kind of always get to that point where they think that, they're doing so much and they're providing so much that they start asking themselves, oh, what more can I do? I've done everything. But my answer to that question is there's always more that you can do.
Welcome back to another episode of The Burn, the show where every single week we are giving you the opportunity to hear from some of the top celebrities, some of the top athletes, some of the top individuals in the world of business to help you understand the burn that lies inside of you, what truly drives you. Far too many people talk about why and purpose, which is so significant. But if we don't understand that underlying burn, how can we ever reach our true performance? Because it's that burn that lights that why and that purpose on fire. And to talk to us about that burn, I got a friend of mine, Xavier McKinney. And this is going to be a special episode. Anytime I've had the opportunity to work with teams, and Xavier knows this, I'm not one of those guys. There are speakers who they'll go speak to 50 teams in a season. I speak with 2 teams. I got my Kansas State family, my Alabama family, because I'm all about relationships. And I would say from the moment you and I met, Xavier, it was just like we were just buddies. It was like, man, we just had this connection. And let me set the table for this because I'm going to make you emotional. We're going to get this started off right. There's things that when I had watched you play before I started my work at Bama a few years ago, fast, physical, violent, nasty. But then you meet Xavier and he's got this big old smile, loves his teammates, just a special guy, that's willing to do the work. And so excited for you to now be entering this journey into the NFL, the 36th pick with the New York Giants. But you know how I roll. I go right to the heart. And that's part of the Bama way. And so here's where I want to take you. When you got drafted, and I shared this with you guys the first time I spoke, I said, I'm an emotional dude. I cried in front of the whole team. They're probably like, what's up with this guy? But it's because we're real. That's what makes us who we are. And when you got drafted, when you hung up that phone with the Giants organization, you got emotional. And man, it makes me emotional thinking about it because I know conversations we've had and how hard I see you guys work and having dreams growing up in Roswell, Georgia, to then winded up in Bama. And it's like, take me to that moment. Your head is in your hands. It was emotional. Don't be mad at me for taking you here. But it was emotional, man. I'm just so proud of you. But what were you thinking? You were emotional, man.
Yeah, man. First of all, I appreciate you for having me on the show. Back to that moment. It was a lot of stuff, honestly. It was a lot of stuff that was going through my mind. The first day, I was thinking, everybody else was thinking, that I was going in the first round. As I was just sitting, kind of just watching the draft and, not seeing my name called and just continuing to look and seeing that, nobody picked me up. So as the picks went by, I was getting more frustrated. I was, by the end of that day, I still wasn't picked up or drafted. And, that really, I felt like it was like pain in my heart, because I, how hard I had worked. I knew how hard I had played. And I knew how much I did and, how much I was worth. And just to see, all those teams pass me up was, like a slap in the face for me. I felt it was really disrespectful. Like I said, that is be something that, will forever, be in my heart. That'll forever be a chip on my shoulder. So after that night, it was a real emotional night for me, because, that was always like one of my biggest goals, my biggest dreams was to be drafted in the first round. And it didn't happen. But, everything happens for a reason. And so after that first night, I was really emotional. And then the next day, I woke up and, at first I didn't really want anybody to come back because in a way I felt a little embarrassed I was hurt. I was still hurt the next day, and I was pretty mad. And actually, when I got up that next morning, the first thing I did, I went to my iPad, and I could show you. I have like my journal of it somewhere in here. But I got on my iPad and I went to my Bama film, and I literally watched all my plays. And I literally took notes on what my weaknesses were. And like I got like several pages of straight film. Like literally that second day of the draft, that morning, I was watching film, trying to figure out what went wrong, where did I have weaknesses at the game, to maybe what everybody else saw, what the coaches saw, like to a reason why, as if they didn't pick me. So, I was writing that stuff down, and I was asking myself, what more do I need to give? And my answer to that question was, there's always more to give. There's always something more to improve on. There's always things you can get better at. And that's always been my main focus. I think a lot of people, they kind of always get to that point where they think that, they're doing so much and they're providing so much that they start asking themselves, oh, what more can I do? I've done everything. But my answer to that question is there's always more that you can do. Like, that's just how I feel. That's my mindset. So every time that I go out here and work, every time that I go out on the field, every time I go out in the weight room, every time I go to rehab, I try to get 1% better each and every day. That's always been my goal. You've seen me practice Alabama, and every practice, like, my goal is to make sure that I get better every day and to make my teammates better every day, so we can be a successful team. And I like to be a successful teammate. So that's something that, I focus on even just in my life, just try to become a better person every day. And then so when I actually continued on with that second day, when the time got there, I was real nervous because at that point, I wasn't sure when I was going to get drafted. Like everybody was saying first, 17 pick. And, things completely, like the draft went completely different than, what was being, like what the mocks and stuff, all that different stuff was. So, I wasn't sure that second day where exactly I was going to get picked. So then when I actually got that phone call, like all of that basically just came out. I was relieved in a way, but I was still hurting because I knew, how many teams passed up on me. I knew how many players went before I did, especially defensive wise. And, all that stuff just kind of, came out. And then also I saw, the emotion of my family, of my friends, and just knowing, how much they saw me, how much work they saw me put in and day out. And just to see, the look on their faces and to see how happy they were for me, it was just something that, just made me, super emotional, man. And I was proud of myself. But I also knew, at the end of that day, when I talked to everybody that came, I told them that it's still going to be a chip on my shoulder. It's still a lot of work to do. I was happy, but, I was not satisfied. And that's how I'm going to continue to work and continue to move forward, because I have, way bigger goals that I've set for myself that I want to make sure that I accomplish on this level.
So here's what I'd share with you. I hope everybody paid attention to the uniqueness of you didn't get what you wanted, what had been a dream for so long. And the next day, this is what I love about you. You took personal responsibility to say, what part of that situation was on me?
Yeah.
And you broke down game film, you identified areas, and it got you to be hungry. I hope everybody's paying attention, because that is not a football lesson, that is a life lesson, and that's what makes you special. That's what's going to make you incredible in the league, is that constant desire to want to get better. So help me understand this and help everybody understand, where does that type of mindset, I call it the burn, as I've shared with you guys for years now. What is that burn for you? Because I know you're fueled by the burn, because when that 50, there it is.
Here
that's
it is.
Amazing.
This is all the stuff. It's just like pages of it. It's like a lot of different stuff, man, that I was just.
Incredible.
Yeah, man.
See, so like you have to have a burn, and like the burn to say, I want to get 1% better. It's like, what is that burn for you? Because we know when that 15, which is now going to be number 29, but when that 15 hits you, you are going to feel it. So what is the fuel for you? Because so many times you've heard me say, what we do today manufactures everything we want in the future. And when you have somebody that works as hard as you do, you manufacture being a second-round draft pick. You manufacture, you will be all pro. You will put together an opportunity to make a run towards a Hall of Fame career with the talent that you have and how you hit and how you see the field. So what is that burn for you, X-Man?
That burn for me, man. I want to be great, and like all my life, I've strived to be a great player, a great football player, a great person. So a lot of people, are motivated by, a lot of different things and stuff of that nature. But for me, I've always been a self-motivated type of guy. I like challenges. I like stuff that's hard. I don't like to have stuff easy. I like to challenge myself and to push myself and see how far, I can go and see how far I push myself to make it to that next level. So, that's something that that's a fuel that burns inside of me. And that's something that's, I've been like that my whole life, like literally. And I think actually when I got to Bama, it's crazy because, actually playing, and a lot of people, might feel differently just about playing at Bama. But, for me, a big reason why, I went to Alabama was because of Coach Xavier. He was somebody that truly pushed me and truly, wanted me to get better. He wanted me to succeed. And so, once I realized that, once I got over he's just trying to run us into the ground, or he's just trying to, punish us, blah, blah, blah. Once I got past all of that, I realized, all the things that, he was doing for not only me, but, for our team and for the players on our team. So, when I was there, I always was self-motivated, but I wanted to be as great as a player as he was a coach. And, that was something that stuck with me, my whole career there. And that's why, every practice, you can ask any player, any coach, like, I went hard in practice.
Yeah, you did.
Because I didn't want to, I didn't want to let him down. I played for my teammates. I also played for my coaches. And, I didn't want to let anybody down, whether that was practice, whether that was games. I didn't want anybody to ever tell me that I had bad effort. I didn't want anybody to ever tell me that I didn't finish a play. And when I did, and if that ever did happen, which, sometimes it happens, I made sure I corrected that. Like after every practice, after every game, Coach Scott, Coach Ansley, when he was there, after every practice, every game, I was upstairs, like watching film, like trying to figure out, okay, what did I do wrong this practice? What were my mental errors from this practice? How were my breaks this practice? How can I get better next practice? How was my tackling? And I worked on that stuff consistently every practice. I worked on that stuff consistently every game. So I made sure that I progressively got better every game. And, what I saw for myself, as I watched film, I progressively got better every single game. Like, there was not one game where it was like, okay, he played this game, and the next game he played exactly the same. Like, there was no – I don't think anybody could show me a game where, like, literally, like, my game didn't change from the previous game. And that's because I worked on that, and I put pride into that. And like I said, I wanted to make sure I didn't let my coaches down. I didn't let my teammates down. So, I always played hard, no matter what it was. So, I think that's just, that's something that has that, that is part of that burn in me that wants to be great. And that's something that fueled me.
Yeah, so oftentimes people tell you how great they want to be, and then we go have a little conversation with their action, and you realize, like, you don't really want to be that great. Yeah. Yet everything that you're indicating is how you improve. It's, once again, whether it's business or sports, like, go break down your game film, figure out the areas to get better. Don't just focus on the strengths. Figure out, how do I make my strengths stronger, and how do I improve in areas where there's opportunity? And that's how you improve game over game. I also know environment is very important to you. So I'm going to have some fun with this one. Yeah. Man, I would walk into that training room and you'd be getting taped up, and it's like there's like a mural on your back of the best looking tattoos I've ever seen in my life. So I'm not going to make you take your shirt off. We'll put some B-roll in, because we'll find some B-roll, because I know it's out there, because it's been highlighted on news interviews. Yeah. You have the best tattoos in the history of the world. Now, I know you love to draw, and I know humble and hungry is important to you. I know writing motivational quotes on your pants, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but I know it was always my motivational quotes on your pants. You can let everybody know, right? But so for you, like, environment, right? Setting the environment, whether it's quotes on your pants, whether it's things that have happened in your life that are now part of you, it's part of what's on your body and your tattoos. How important is environment to you to set that reminder? Because I think it's so unique how you approach this.
Yeah, man. I think it's super important, man. Because sometimes as you go, and maybe if things are going great, you might forget about the bigger picture. You may kind of lose sight a little bit, or you might kind of lax off a little bit if maybe you're winning a lot, or even maybe if you're losing a lot. Like, you could always lose sight. So for me, of course I was always driven and I was always ready to go. But there were also times where, I didn't feel like practicing. There were also times where, I was tired that day, and things of that nature. So, what I always did was every practice, I reminded I wrote down, especially after the year that we lost to Clemson my sophomore year, after every practice on my practice plans, I wrote down 44-16. And that still eats me alive to this day. Like, I'm like so pissed about that damn game, because, sorry for the language, but I'm so pissed about this game, because it meant a lot to me, just to get there, and for me, knowing that I haven't really won any championship game that I've been in. And that's something that also fuels the fire inside of me, because my junior and senior year of my high school career, we lost back-to-back championships. And then, of course, freshman year we won. And then sophomore year we got embarrassed pretty much. But after every practice, that's what I wrote on my pants. And during practice, if I got tired, or if I missed the assignment or missed a tackle, I would look at that and I'll tell myself, like, okay, let's go. Like, you got to go. Like, you don't have time to be tired. You don't have time to think about you hurting. Like, it's no time for that, because the more you think about that, the more you getting your ass whooped. Like, like that's just what happens. Like you have to keep going. So for me, I looked at that and, you know, I kept pushing because I was like, I can't let this happen again. I can't let this, you know, I can't let, you know, my team down. I can't lose. Like, I don't want to get embarrassed. Like, I want to win. So my whole thing was, okay, let's go. I'm going to push myself. And then, you know, I push myself, but at the same time, I'm pushing my teammates too, because I want to get to that level that I'm on, because if we all on that same level, then we're going to be real hard to deal with. So, you know, that was just, you know, so I think that's why, you know, environment's huge for me. You know, and even the people around me, as far as my coaches, man, I had great coaches. I think that's something that, you know, people don't really, you know, realize. Of course, a lot of people always talk bad about, you know, the coaches that we had, but man, we had great coaches, man. They pushed us. You know, you know, they wanted us to get better, and, you know, not only for us, but they wanted to get better. Like, I saw them working, like trying to get stuff figured out as quickly and as best as they could. And you know, that was something that, you know, that meant a lot for me, because I like the coach that pushes me. I like the coach that tells me I'm not doing something right. I like the coach that's not always, you're doing everything right. Like, you don't have no mental errors, you're good. Like, no, because there's always something that I could do. Like, I'm not always good, and I know that because I watch film. So, you know, they made sure they did that, and that helped me out in a lot of different ways, and that helped our team out in a lot of different ways. And you know, we kept growing, and you know, I think that's why now, especially like those younger guys that were coming up, I think they're about to have a hell of a year. You know, I think that team is going to have a hell of a year, and I think they're going to be a really great team. That's in my opinion. So, you know, environment is you know, that's something that's very crucial for me, and it's very important.
Let's leave everybody with this. Lots of challenge and adversity. I mean, from the, you know, racial injustice going on in the world, which, you know, it's enough of talk. I mean, there's got to be just action. There has to be change. To COVID. This is, when you heard your name called, this is not what you anticipated. Mm-hmm. How are you staying focused? And one of the things I love about you is that you are not a silent voice. You will be a voice for change. You are going to use your voice for positivity. I love that about you, Xavier. And I know with COVID, like, you've shown up and worked out. Like, what message would you give to that young man, you know, who's watching, or that young girl who's watching, who maybe they let the adversity get to them rather than being somebody who takes action the way that you do? What would you share? Like, how do you approach adversity and challenge in life? I'd love you to leave everybody with that lesson.
So for me, man, you know, of course I love football. It's something that I've been doing my whole life. I always love it. But I think our biggest, you know, the biggest focus should be, you know, all the injustice that's going around in the world. And you know, I've tried to, you know, lock myself in on that to make sure that, you know, I improve, you know, as a person, and kind of being more knowledgeable about certain things, and also trying to make sure that, you know, I spread, you know, that knowledge around. So for me, I've actually been doing, you know, things with, you know, the high school kids, as far as making sure that they know what's going on around the world, so that they're able to, you know, do the same. So when I spread that, I do that so, you know, they can do that once they get older. So they know that it's important to spread that word and to make sure that, you know, the injustice, you know, stops. So I think that's the biggest focus right now. And then with COVID, man, I think being safe and just making sure that your family and yourself is in a good good environment and just taking all the precautions to make sure that, you don't, catch the virus. And I think those are the two biggest things. But as far as, football wise for me, I'm making sure that, I stay healthy. I'm making sure that, I keep my body up to par as far as doing my workouts, making sure I'm eating right. I'm ready for, whenever that time comes and they proceed to call us up and get us ready. I'm ready to go. And I'm finally ready to be a Giant, man, and have fun with all my teammates, all my coaches, and it'll be a fun season. So I'm ready for the opportunity.
Well, you know how I feel about you, and I can't wait to watch you cut it loose with that 29, put it on people that they're going to feel it. And it's great to, just allow others to hear how you approach, your life, because so many people see rings, they see success, and they're like, oh, it's easy. But it's not easy always trying to get better. And so I'm always in your corner. Anything I can do, I'll be there for you. And I just appreciate you coming on the show. And, I got your back. Much love your way. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me on the show, man. Just, letting me be able to kind of voice, how I feel about certain things and just kind of getting into the mind a little bit of X. So I appreciate you. And I got much love for you. So, I'm sure we'll talk soon. I appreciate it, though.
Absolutely. X is out.
I'm out.